Welcome to the Yeehoo Pod, a podcast by Yeehoo Press where we discuss all things picture books. My name is Maliza, and today I'm joined with Helen H, author of Tofu Takes Time and our long-awaited Long Goes to Dragon School. Hi, Helen. How are you?
Hi, Maliza. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm super thrilled to be here to share my new book and my publishing experience with you all.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
for
much for
being
having
here.
me.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you here. So we're going to talk about Long Goes to Dragon School. It comes out in hardcover on March 21st, 2023. We're so excited. It also comes with the dust jacket as a poster. Oh, that's upside down. And that's really beautiful. That's designed by May Beetham, who we'll talk about later on today. And hopefully I can have her on here as well. So how do you feel just having long here, like the final product?
Yeah, it's really exciting and it feels so great. It's really feeling of achievement to finally hold the book on hand. And also we made some plushies and some
Yeah.
paints, some paints and stickers. So it's really great to hold these final products on hand and really bring the ideas to life.
Yeah, it must be thrilling for you because I remember, everything from the very beginning when we were talking about what products we're gonna have with uh with long, the plushies, the pins, so I'm and the stickers. So I'm so excited that everything's here and all laid out and we see the book just, physically, and we finally get to hold it, in our hands. It's so much more beautiful in person now that I'm actually looking at it. So I love that. So can you give me just a quick summary of Long and maybe what inspired you to write it?
Yeah, sure. So a quick summary of the story. It's the first day of Dragon School, where all the young dragons must learn how to harness their fire blaze. Today's lesson is using it to cook food, and all the dragons are excited to test their powers, except Long. Long is from the east and can only, only blaze out water. And no matter how hard he huffs and puffs, he isn't sure he can match his fire blazing classmates. And Long discovered that he must carve his own path to cooking and to finding a sense of belonging.
Oh, so Long is unique in that he breathes out fire. So that's not what usually, what I know of dragons. So is that based on Chinese culture?
Yeah. So in Chinese culture, Chinese dragons typically blaze out water instead of fire. And Long Goes to Dragon School is inspired by my personal experience as a student in America. So when I first arrived in the United States, English was my second language, and I often felt out of place because I couldn't understand the topics my classmates were discussing or the jokes that they were making or the shows they were watching. And then later on, after I graduated, I decided to pursue my passion for writing and illustration. And despite feeling unqualified to tell the stories I want to share, I pushed through my imposter syndrome. And I managed to use those feelings of insecurity to motivate myself to keep learning, keep going and seizing every opportunity that came my way. And a few years ago, I was inspired. I was invited to talk about publishing my stories on another podcast. I was so nervous, and my English wasn't as fluent as I wanted to be. And unfortunately, that recorded podcast wasn't aired. And despite feeling discouraged, I also realized that I had taken a very brave step by accepting that opportunity to be on the podcast. So this experience pushed me forward and taught me that to embrace every small success. And I learned that even taking even a very small step forward is a significant achievement and should be celebrated.
That's actually a very beautiful way that you put that because I think, this book will really resonate with a lot of people who move to a different country and have to acclimate to a new culture. And I think it's very beautiful and very empowering for you to actually have written something that speaks so well to your experience and that has just helped you, you know, really connects you with the characters. So this is the second book you've published, and I just love how it has like similar themes to your first book, Tofu Takes Time. I mean, there's talks of food, but there's really just that emphasis on culture. And so can you tell me how is it different writing, having a second book published? Was it easier to get this one going than your first one?
Yeah, sure. My experience publishing Long Goes the Dragon School was quite different from my first book, Tofu Takes Time. I think the biggest difference is that with Tofu Takes Time, I was solely the author, so I didn't have much involvement in the editing or illustration process, and this made the whole publishing process much simpler and easier for me. And however, with Long Goes the Dragon School, I had the opportunity to serve as the editor and be involved in every single step of the process, from text editing, illustration, thumbnails, sketches and coloring, and every revision to the graphic design. And I provided a lot of input into the layout design, cover design, jacket design, and I even came up with the idea for the poster on the back of the cover jacket, and I designed it myself.
Oh, you
So
did?
yeah,
I
I
thought this was
designed
by
this
May.
poster.
Oh, I thought that was by May.
Yeah, the illustrations are by me, but I designed the
Oh,
layout,
okay.
the two dragons, and the typography of these of the quotes. Yeah,
Mhm.
so I mean, work so closely with the team was an incredible experience, but also it's really time consuming and effort consuming. And I always appreciate the efforts from a publishing house, including the editorial team, design team, marketing, and the sales team that goes into making a book possible and ensuring it as the best as can be.
Mhm. So really, this was a lot of people. So I love that a lot of people, or that you really knew all of the people that worked on this, and that you had such close relationships with them. I think it just makes the book so much more personal to you, and uh, that's just a beautiful story to tell. And just going back to the book, I'm looking at thinking about the characters. We have several classmates of Long, Camilla, Willie. Then we also have like the professor. We have Professor McKay, who's actually my favorite because it reminds me of a lot of my favorite educators growing up, and teachers and uh, professors who've helped me, um, you know, be a better student. And so I'm curious, is Professor McKay based on a professor you had when you first moved from China to the States?
Yeah, yeah, indeed. Professor McKay was inspired by my first professor in the States, Dr. Michael Weston, who taught me environmental economics and agriculture in economics and energy policy. While studying under him, I discovered a digital part about marketing and digital painting, and began my journey as a self-taught illustrator and graphic designer, and working with other self-published authors, and eventually publishing my own books. As an immigrant student, the typical path would have been to seek out a stable job and a visa sponsorship, but Dr. Weston encouraged me to pursue my true passion and recognize my talent and skills. And his support was so invaluable in helping me discover my own path. And I hope every student has the opportunity to encounter such a supportive educator along their journey.
Mhm. That's actually, that's so beautiful, and that just makes me feel just so emotional actually, because I have my own memories with my own professors that are like that, who just really pushed me and have seen like what I'm passionate about. And I really hope that when Long Goes to Dragon School gets read to schools and to to young children, that educators get inspired to really recognize what each student is passionate about and really pushes them to follow their dreams, on that regard versus just uh, putting them in a box and just seeing them as, just not as individual people. And I think Professor McKay really saw that in Long, and I love that you included that in the story. And so, speaking of the characters, I actually wanted to touch on, the Kickstarter that Yeehoo Press did for Long, and it was amazingly funded in 4 days. And we had plushies, again, enamel pins and stickers. And so, can you just tell me briefly about that, and how does it feel just seeing your characters come to life?
Yeah, sure. Like children's picture book has the power to spark joy and curiosity in young minds. And with Long Goes the Dragon School, we wanted to take that experience beyond the pages of the book. And that's why we created this Kickstarter campaign for these adorable dragon plushies that can bring joy and happiness, not to just the kids, but also to teenagers and adults, and made with a super soft plush fabric. These huggable toys are perfect for playtime or and as comforting companions. Here's another dragon, Mia, the Sakura dragon. Yeah, we are hoping to make some other dragon characters and plushies. But that's not all. We expand our product line to include the pins and stickers and the keychains and animated GIF emojis that can be used on social media. Yeah, our hope is that these cute and lovable dragon characters can become more than just the book characters, but also everyday companions for people of all ages. And with their heartwarming message of self-discovery and self-love, and these plushies and accessories can help spread kindness and compassion in the world. So yeah, let's fly beyond the book and share the joy of Long Goes the Dragon School. Oops.
Yeah, I love that. And I just hope that when people read the book and have the plushies, they are inspired and can just bring the story, make the story of Long personable to them through those plushies, and just all around just become so inspired by what you've written and what May also has illustrated. And so, just going off on the design, I know you said you had a lot of input on that, and you worked with May Beetham, and she's pretty she's pretty well known in her field. And so, I've talked to some other authors who've told me that they were actually quite hands off when it comes to the illustrations, but it doesn't seem that you were. So, well, so again, so how did that relationship work with May? Did you coordinate with her? Was did it turn out exactly how you envisioned it in the very beginning? What was that relationship like?
Yeah. So for this story, since this Chinese dragon is the main character, and the Chinese dragons are typically visually different from Western dragons with their long snake-like bodies. But in this book, the focus is not on their physical differences, but on their unique inner abilities. So to bring each character to life, I designed them with distinct personalities and with all different body shapes, and maybe some exceptional talent made them even more captivating with her mesmerizing illustrations. May specialized in drawing cute, childlike Chinese dragons, and she has this wonderful, gorgeous traditional Chinese watercolor art style, and all these added another layer of beauty to the book. And when our team pitched this story to May, she immediately jumped on board and brought her artistic magic to the project. And collaborating with May is an absolute delight. During the character design phase, she asked me a lot about each dragon's background and their personality, and she explored each of them's background and what kind of character or personality they are. And the results were really breathtaking. And from Camila, the fiery dragon who loves to read, to Willy, the hilarious double-headed dragon who breathes lightning, and to Mia, the fluffy dragon who spews lava. And each character had a unique and a captivating design that perfectly matched their distinct personalities. And May's artistry was truly remarkable, and making the character jump off the page and into our hearts. So I'm really thrilled that May's talent and passion contribute to this project, and that people of all ages can now enjoy the story. And it's all these wonderful dragon characters.
Yeah, I definitely see that in every single page, and I love all of the delicate touches because it is like in a watercolor style. And one of my favorite parts of the book as a whole is the map, where you can see where each of the dragons actually come from. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I didn't expect to see that, and when I finally saw it, I was so amazed. That's like my favorite part. I love maps in books, and it's just such a beautiful addition um to the book as a whole. So you and May just did an amazing job just putting this together.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so one of my as we're just about to wrap up, I think I really want to talk about the central messages and the theme of this book, and how it really shares the vulnerability that immigrants face when they move and have to like acclimate to a new culture, and especially in young children who are different and feel misunderstood, and they can't express how they don't know how to be like their classmate, or accept their individuality and just express themselves. So what do you hope readers will take away from your book? Do you hope it'll change maybe the perspective on foreign students, and hope that people will be more compassionate towards them, people who are from a different culture?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So I identify with Long's story because I could relate to feeling like an outsider and struggling to find my place. And I wanted to write a story that celebrates cultural differences and encourage readers to embrace their individuality. And in Long Goes to Dragon School, Long struggles to fit in with his classmates because he cannot breathe fire like the other dragons. And this mirrors my own experience of feeling inadequate because I did not have the same background as my peers. However, like Long, I found my unique path and I learned to embrace my differences. And I hope readers of all backgrounds will be able to relate to Long's journey and find inspiration in his perseverance and self-discovery. And I hope readers will take away a message of self-discovery and culture understanding from this book. Then the book celebrates diversity and teaches children that our differences should be embraced and celebrated. And I also hope that the book will inspire children to persevere through challenges and find their own unique path to success.
Yeah, well, in my opinion, I think you did all of that, and you did it in a 40-page picture book, a beautiful 40-page picture book. So, you know, what's next for you? Do we have any upcoming projects that you want to share? Anything that, is coming up?
Yeah, currently I'm working on expanding the product lines of the plushies and pins and keychains, and as well as developing a few other picture books that showcase Chinese culture. So yeah, I hope I will have more news to share with you all soon.
Yeah, and we can get all of these plushies and pins on yeehoomedia.com for now. Yeah, and everybody can get 15% off their purchase with the code Yeehoo15.
Mhm.
And so this book comes out March 21st. And, you know, if readers want to connect with you, where can we find you online?
Yeah, if you want to find more about me, you can visit my website at helenhwu.com or find me on Instagram and Twitter under the handle Helen H. Wu or on TikTok as Long the Dragon. So yeah, stay tuned.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Helen, for being here today. I am so thrilled to just have been able to discuss Long. I think it's just a gift that you've given us, and congratulations to your book. I can't wait for it to hit the shelves. It'll be available where books are sold again on March 21st, and I look forward to the day. So to everybody listening, thank you so much for just being here for this conversation. And we'll see you at the next one.